golden hour.
Megan, are we good?
Thank you all for being here. I know that we're getting ready, like we said, from an operational standpoint to go live. Really the hope of all of this, in case this is the first year you've been a part of it, if you're a department head, you've probably been around long enough for us to know and understand why we do this. I know we will get into this, but having people here is just as important for us to create this medium to be sent out to all of the residents of the city. As we continue to grow and as we continue to develop, it really is our hope to make this easier and more consumable for people. But the live in person, as well as being able to shake hands and get to know some faces with names, is always very important to us. So I thank y'all for making time out of your day and your schedules to be here, whether that's staff or whether that's boards and commissions, community partners, all of the above. So thank you for that.
All right, well, good morning. My name is Agatha Jimenez. I am the communications coordinator for the city of La Marque. And with me today is interim city manager J.B. Pritchett and Mayor Keith Bell. Please help me welcome them. We are live for our All-America State of the City address. And the State of the City is an annual event where we come together to reflect on the past year and as we look towards our bright future. 2024 was a remarkable year for La Marque. We were named an All-America City. So with that in mind, we are excited to be an All-America City. Mayor, can you explain the significance of what this means for La Marque?
Thank you, Agatha, for the question, and certainly greetings to Mr. Pritchett, who's our interim city manager. Those of you that are here with us live, we did not have time to greet you before you started to eat lunch. Certainly, I'm hugging all of you at this particular time. Welcome, 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 and thank you all for being here. And to our 20,000 residents here in the great city of La Marque, the greatest city in Texas, we say welcome to this annual State of the City conversation as well. Last year we won the All-America City Award. We competed in the National Civic League with various other cities, and God blessed us with the acknowledgement with the award of the All-America City. For me, it opens tremendous doors for our community. First and foremost, internally, it provides for a sense of direction toward excellence, toward effectiveness. Does not necessarily suggest that we are there yet, but it does indicate internally that we have the desire, to move our city forward to a better place. There is no perfect city, not in this country, not on this planet, not ever at any time in human history, but we can strive to be better. What it should do for us externally is to provide for a snapshot of the heart of the people of this great city, for those that endeavor to become a part of our city, for those that endeavor to do business in or with our city. It's important to have this designation. Folks around this country, their eyes are open now to the great city of La Marque, and they are watching us. And it is our opportunity today to turn this enormous accomplishment into better amenities, into better infrastructure, into better partnerships with businesses, and into an overall better life for our residents in this great city. I would be remiss if I did not suggest to us that this would not have been possible without the contributions of our former city manager, Mr. Cesar Garcia, and we certainly wish him well in the city of Kemah. But we wanted to not even have a conversation about the state of the city and the All-America city without mentioning Mr. Garcia's name. Certainly he contributed a tremendous amount of work toward this goal, and we share this with him, although he is in Kemah at this time.
On an operational standpoint for us, actually you were one of the delegates that even went, I think it's our job and our responsibility to communicate what it meant for us internally. There was always that point of it's a lot of work. It's an uphill battle. It's an uphill climb. What does it mean? And that's really what was the driving force behind it. When we talked about and wrote the application to and about what makes La Marque and why we were ultimately chosen to be an All-America city were the things that unfortunately had plagued the entire country the years prior. When we looked at how do we respond better to our community in the amidst adversarial events, how do we respond to our community to let them know transparency? How do we understand and communicate to the community where their tax dollars are going, what they're being used for? How do we create a plan? How do we bring people and invite them at a seat at the table? I will tell you from a staff standpoint, we want plenty of input. We want input from 10 members that we see at every meeting. We want input of 10 new people that maybe haven't been part of conversations in the past. When we represent 20,287 plus, the next 20,000 that are coming in, from us for staff, it's going to change all of our day-to-days. I look around the room, I see how it has changed and affected code enforcement. I see how it has changed and affected the police department, how it's changed and affected the fire EMS departments of our city prior to just the substantial growth that La Marque is seeing. But on the national stage, you have this idea and this concept of we want our government, federal, state, county, and even municipal, fast. We want it at our fingertips. We want it at our hands. So we not only know and understand what is coming up in city business, what is the plan for city business and tax dollars, budgetary confines, but what is it going to mean for the substantial growth? And so why I talk about the staff standpoint is what we won for. It's a Safe City initiative because we were a city that was seeing higher than normal crime rates. We were seeing a police department that needed to be supported. And there was this brainchild of the Safe City initiative that propelled us at All-America. Even what we're doing now of broadcasting and dispersing information was a major focal point of the top 3 application reasons why we won All-America. And the third is putting the hands into our residents so that they can tell us how they want certain tax dollars spent. Obviously, there's a big budgetary confines to a city, and there's monies that really are what I call non-negotiables. It costs us to fuel up a fire truck. Chief Merriman reminds me of that often. There's a cost when it comes to our police officers making our streets safer. Chief Aragon reminds me of that often, and we go through these with finance and through these department heads to communicate them to council, to communicate them to the public. But for us to be set apart for giving your residents the power to spend their own money, to disperse information for LMTV, and to take a 3-time the national average and state average of a crime in a city, and to make it drop year after year after year after year. For me, that is the pride in being All-America, because it are the things that people said, this is what is plaguing why we are not understanding why our city isn't functioning. And we created real-life solutions behind them.
Sounds good. I'd like to remind everyone that Lamarck is a city manager form of government. So as we go through our questions, I'll be asking Mayor to answer from a legislative perspective, and then Mr. Pritchett will be answering from a daily operations perspective. So for the 8th consecutive year, the city has seen an increase in sales tax revenue. What do you attribute this boost to, and how does the city plan to allocate these additional funds to the benefit of the city?
Well, we're proud to have eight consecutive years in a row to have increased sales tax revenue. I believe we're up 15% so far this year. And what that means for us is that we are able to, from a political standpoint, from a policy-making standpoint, we're able to provide relief for the residents and property tax. You've heard me say this before. I certainly am one vote on the council. I respect those other four persons that serve with me, but I am opposed to property tax. I prefer sales tax being generated by the economic arm of our community, the businesses, the retail, the eateries, and things of that nature. Those sales taxes are generated, and they can, as I said before, provide relief for our residents as it relates to property tax. How are we getting there? Part of it is the I-45 expansion, clearly. As 45 expands, as Galveston grows, and as the population increases around us, I believe every city around us is experiencing population increases. Heads and beds drive sales tax. And we've not been able to do it in a way that you might think. We don't have big box retailers yet. It's coming. We don't have large conglomerates that have decided to call Lamarque their home yet. Yet. We've been able to do it by bringing in smaller businesses, businesses that many people, when they see them be established in Lamarque, they think nothing of it. But those businesses generate sales tax. Chipotle would be one of those businesses. McDonald's would be one of those businesses. Raising Cane's would be one of those businesses. And when those businesses came to our city, again, it was ho-hum. Where are the real businesses? Where are the real restaurants? But these businesses, when you add them all together, they're able to provide the same tax relief as some of your larger businesses that will soon be coming. Incidentally, while 45 expansion has helped us, it has also hampered us because there are many businesses that want to come to Galveston County. Many businesses that have been in conversations with our staff and with our Economic Development Corporation that they are simply waiting for the work on I-45 to be completed before they begin to move toward establishing themselves in our great city. But it goes a long way to add needed things that our city needs in the budget. We've been able to provide resources for our Public Works Department. We've been able to purchase and provide resources for our public safety, as well as other areas of our operation. And much of it is attributed to the increase in sales tax revenue that our city has experienced over the past 8 years.
For how we expand that, from our standpoint, more than anything, would be to Mayor's point about where we're building a foundation. We have to build foundation when it comes to infrastructure for business expansion. I wish Super Target would just plop in the middle of a field.
That'd be great.
I think everybody in 77568 would like to see some of the bigger stores come up overnight. However, when we talk about creating an infrastructure that will support those, when you talk about power, when you talk about utilities, when you talk about water flowing in and water flowing out of those kind of developments, it takes time to plan. It takes time with our developmental services. It takes time to go over building code, fire code, to have a plan in order to build all of that out. Well, it also goes with our public works team to build the infrastructure that will support that. And so, Mayor, you keep using the word yet, and that might be our takeaway, is yet for today, because whereas we have spent time building this infrastructure, we are continuing spending time and tax dollars to go into the infrastructure that is needed. I can often think of drainage projects, whether it's Wisteria Drainage Project, Mary Melody Drainage Project, I-45 expansion drainage projects that go along there. That has to happen before we see this business development. That is what we have been working on. Those are the projects that if you look over the last handful, including this upcoming council meeting, that's what they're filled with. It's not the exciting part of that expansion yet, but we are preparing and planning to capitalize on it more than ever before. I think when we look at that development, we look at all 8 years of sales tax. Where we need to put those money is not necessarily using those monies to go buy bigger and brighter toys right out of the gate. I don't know about y'all, but I have a much more fiscally conservative father than that. And so for us, it is to look at our equipment. It's to look at our departments that we can make true change when it comes to making small tweaks. It's not to spend all of the money for the entire city as it is coming in. It's for us to tighten up. That's kind of the phrase between myself and a lot of our departments, at least our big three, police, fire, and public works. It's how do we tighten up right now? How do we make sure that the changes that we're making today, the addition of bodies, the addition and reevaluation equipment, the reevaluation of a police station, all of these are to plan for what is going to be needed in this city's growth that we're already seeing. Mayor, I think you've done a lot to the Vision 2050, and I know we'll get there. But so much of what we do on a regular basis is planning out 5 to 10 years down the line. And so that money, as it's coming in, from an administration standpoint, it's not to spend it as fast as it comes in. Where the true value in that is to be strategic as that money is coming in, as new businesses are coming in. I know Chipotle's been busier than, I don't know what, I wish I was a franchise owner. Don't even get me started on Cane's, because that stays wrapped around the building all day long. I love to see that, because I can tell you how many millions of dollars it adds to a tax base and to a tax roll. But then what does that mean for operations? It means that we need to evaluate our departments, our bigger departments, our facilities, so that we understand that we're not crippling ourselves on one end just because we've added bodies. I think that it's very public to be known that small government is what is liked in this part of the world. And part of that comes with the efficiency behind it. So 8 years of record sales tax is fantastic. What do I want to do with it? I want to wait. I want to make the adjustments so that we can make 1 or 2 tweaks that will truly affect public works. Because then drainage gets handled, roads get repaved, culverts get cleaned out, all of these things. We're not just dumping it into projects that we don't necessarily see the fruit of the labor. I think I've heard it said time and time again, Marque is overdue. Well, the time is now, because we have the ability as the growth comes in. If we don't spend all the money going out, but utilizing the tools, utilizing the resources, utilizing what we do well in each of our departments, and continue to support that so they can continue to thrive. The police department will still make our streets safer. Police and EMS will continue to provide the utmost level of care, not only for citizens, but anything that affects the city. EDC, developmental services, you can add resources there so that we can speed up the process for more development as it comes down. As someone who has a background in this, once it starts, it's not easy to slow that machine. So we need to prepare and build that foundation with those sales tax dollars rather than overinflating too fast, so that we can be the most effective for the next 5 to 10 years.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Bell, your Safe City initiative has helped reduce crime in Lamarck for the past 4 years. What do you contribute this success to, and how can the city move forward in the same direction?
I think that first and foremost, we need to really understand that the Safe City initiative that was started here in Lamarck has become a nationally awarded and recognized program. A program that many other cities are emulating right now. Our crime has dropped 4 years in a row. I believe we're down this past year, Chief Argon, I believe the report says we were down about 15% overall this past year.
Yes.
And so this is a blessing. When I became mayor, we all know about Facebook and the blogs. When I became mayor, more than any other communication or conversation on social media, the conversation was about gunshots, shootings, and all sorts of violence. And then we were foolish enough to say that at some point in our history, Lamar would be the safest city in Texas, and people laughed at us. And look at us now. 4 years in a row, crime has been decreasing. What do we attribute that to? Well, I believe that it's a three-legged stand. The first leg, obviously, is the men and women of the Lamarck Police Department. They are the best police department in our county, in this state. I think we should give them a round of applause. And incidentally, I'm going to politic right now. A police department as fine as ours should not have to walk across this alley and have a facility as poor as that. First and foremost, because it's unsafe. This is not a police department that wants a shiny new building. This isn't a police department that wants to just have a new building because they want a new building. Let me say it to you one more time before I get to my other legs of my stand. The Lamarck Police Department facility is unsafe to the officers, and that's why we need a new facility. And anyone that would suggest that we don't, for any reason, should look no further than the idea that the men and women that are keeping us safe are working in unsafe conditions. Leg one, it's the men and women of the Lamarck Police Department, and I would add into that the bang-up job that the Galveston County Organized Crime Task Force has done in conjunction with this Lamarck Police Department. That has brought tremendous amounts of effectiveness to our community, and I believe the former commander of that unit is now a Lamarck police officer. I won't say names because I think that puts our officers in jeopardy, but all of us in the room know who that person is. And so it is a collaboration between the best police department in the state and this county government and other agencies within that mix that makes one leg. The second leg is the brainchild of my dear friend Randall Argon. This idea that he brought to us a little over 10 years ago, this community-oriented policing, the idea that the community can take part through an organized effort in determining how we are to be policed, and also provide information to our law enforcement community about problems or potential problems in their communities. Nothing beats intelligence if you are a police officer. It makes their job, I would say, tremendously more efficient. that relationship between where we're at now, Chief, are we at 10, 11, 12 organized communities somewhere in that area? That relationship between the law enforcement community and these community-oriented policing groups has yielded dividends. The third leg is the people of this great city. It's the idea that we were tired of gunshots, the idea that we were tired of organized crime, drug, gang activities going in and through our community, that we wanted better. And many of those folks they don't take part in the community-oriented policing groups, but they are just as important because many of our community members see something and now they're saying something. They're making the extra call. They're calling our police department. They're sharing information with neighbors and friends, and it has made us safer overall. And with that, the exciting news for me is not only that we're safer, but also we are attracting more experienced officers to our force. 4 years ago, one of the challenges we had was that our officers were very young on the job, and they had very little experience. But today, in 2025, officers from other law enforcement organizations, officers with 5, 10, even 15 years of real-time, on the street, law enforcement experience, have decided for various reasons to leave the organizations that they were with to come and join the Lamarque Police Department. That's saying something. That's saying something. Our police department has led the charge. The crime in our community is down. And I believe that we will reach the status of being the safest city in Texas. We just need a little more time.
I'll definitely touch on the part because we have some of our community watch chairpersons in the room. We have some of our community watch members in the room. I think that aspect and the way that y'all rely on whether it is the officer that you're connected to or it is the officer that you know patrols your area at certain times, right? We have the beauty of understanding some of that small town feel and connection. So that when if I see Chief, oh, that's Chief, absolutely. But if I see, an officer that's going around on a regular basis, if it is a group that makes a point to support our officers, if it is our officers and really how that has shaped over the last few years, honestly, something that between Chief Aragon as well as the command staff of the police department as a whole, something that we talk very often, something that we talk about, what do they need? And it's not, I think, Mary, you made a good point to where they've been of what is needed right now for us to answer the call that we're being charged with. Our inside joke is that, at least my inside joke with the police department is, when the siren, when it happens, you'll know it, and we need to be on the ready. And I think that Chief Aragon, as well as his entire extension of the police department, the lieutenants, deputy chief, and everybody with that understands that charge, understands what it means to take the city from there's shots fired every night, there's a shooting on a regular basis, to the unfortunate circumstance that even happened this past week of having one of our constable deputies shot at in the course of their job. But the Lamarque Police Department, within 10 minutes of this happening, of shots going off in our city, apprehended the suspect, had that person in custody, because they have a commitment not only to each and every person in this room, each and every person who watches this live, who re-watches it, all the above, to change the course of what our city streets look like, what they look like at 8 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock at night. city for all of us to live in. Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Bridget had mentioned the Marque 2050 plan earlier. Can you tell us what that is?
The Marque 2050 plan is the council's effort to provide direction for our great city for years to come. If you have any experience in municipal government, you realize that 5 years in municipal government is sort of like 5 days in our personal lives. It goes by really, really fast. And so the idea that you can effectively plan for the direction or the trajectory, if you will, of a municipal government in 5-year increments is short-sighted. And so the Marque 2050 plan calls for us as a community to project out not only the next 5 years, but to project out the next 25 years, with the understanding that when we get into those later years, the vision will be broader, it will be more vague, because certainly there will be all sorts of things that will happen in the interim that might need to tweak or change the vision. The Bible, those of us that are Christians, the Bible declares that without a vision, the people perish. And that says that if you don't have a vision in mind, if you don't have a goal in mind, if you don't have a destination in mind, if you don't have a place in mind, something that you are moving toward, some sort of an accomplishment or an achievement that you're moving toward, you then become susceptible to all sorts of other distractions and short-sighted decisions and emotional decisions that might hinder your development and your growth. The Marque 2050 plan gives us a bolder, broader vision, a vision that we could look forward to, a vision that we can work towards, so that we would overall continue to focus, because this is a critical time in our city. We used to be a young city, and now we're becoming an older city. We know this because of our infrastructure. When the infrastructure that you have originally placed for your residents starts to deteriorate before your eyes, under your feet, suggests that your city is moving into a different destiny. And so we need to incorporate not only what we're going to be doing with our infrastructure in the future, but we also need to incorporate where our police station, our fire stations will be. We need to incorporate what our public works division will look like in the future. We need to incorporate green space. Where will our green spaces be located? What will we do at Mahan Park? I know we have a master park plan, but things are changing every day. So this plan will incorporate every aspect of our lives in this great community so that it can provide focus
And so for us, again, I think the staff will tell you I'm much more calculated than that. I ask questions of how much it's going to cost when it gets down to the bottom line. What's the overall value that it gives us from that standpoint? And so for the idea of 2050 to be thought about, I don't know if y'all know this, but we have a time capsule over by the library that's
in and also enjoy these nice restaurants and these other retail establishments, and so they'll generate sales tax as well. But these folks also are people who I would endeavor to invite them, engage them in being part of this community's leadership. We need more folks on boards. We need more folks on commissions. We need more folks on HOAs. We need more folks that will volunteer to lead and coach in our softball league or our baseball league or our soccer league or the programs that Mrs. Amy Miller has at the library. We need more people to be a part of what we are doing here in this great city. And so it is of tremendous benefit. Let me also say, while we're having this discussion, that there have been new development happening in the housing market on the east side of town. It just hadn't been in concentrated areas, but as old homes are demolished, new homes replace them on those old lots. And so as you move through the eastern portions or the historic parts of Lamarck, you will see new homes being erected in some of the most unlikeliest of places, because Lamarck is the place to be. Now, in order for us to be where we all want to be in this community, the eastern portions of our city, the historic Lamarck, has to become more dense. In order for us, and what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to really invest in the vision, the planning, and the execution of transforming the Highway 3 corridor. It's going to take some work. But in order for us to do that, we are going to have to become more dense in historic Lamarck, meaning the idea is that we certainly won't need as much space as we used to need. Many folks like to have a fourth of an acre, half an acre, 2 acres, 8 acres, whatever the case may be, to live out their American dream. But that's not always conducive to municipal growth. We need heads and beds. We need bodies to be able to move and generate the economic development of the historic part of Lamarck. I believe we can. That's a part of our 2050 plan. But the housing market in Lamarck is most certainly exploding, and it has not slowed down.
I think we'll continue to see that. If you look at the trends of America as a whole, Mayor, you talked about that American dream. For some people, it's 8 acres. For some people, you don't want to see a neighbor for a day or two. For some people, you're used to having neighbors. That's your community. I think all of us kind of experience that in some way, shape, or form. I think where we're seeing across the nation, where you're talking to developers, where we're talking about home builders, where we're talking about how all of this intertwines with the government work from staff, is they're doing business differently. The American dream of 1975, 85, 95, 2005, 2015, all the way to 2025 has changed a little bit. The space required. We all know the tiny home craze. We've all seen HGTV one too many nights where we stayed up too late, so we know the tiny home craze. But people were used to the idea of less space. The density isn't a problem. The idea of, you mean to tell me I can live in an apartment on this side of town? I don't have to cut my own yard. I don't have to do my own landscaping. I don't have to do all of that. It's all encompassed together. Sign me up. We've seen that development in our sister cities. We've seen that development when it comes as a whole. Most recently, next door, you have the apartment complex right next to Lago Mar. Now, Lago Mar has a very specific clientele. They want space inside and outside. But there are a subgroup of people that say, I don't need a house that big. I don't want to clean a house that big. That's just more rooms for my kids to make dirty. Give me a 2-bedroom, give me 2 up, 2 down, whatever the case is. The point is there's a lot of different options nowadays when it comes to that American dream. For some people, it's a white picket fence. For others, it's a white Pekingese. That's all the space they need, them and their dog. But the point is as municipal government in 2025, and even planning for 2050, we have to create affordable housing. We have to create housing options for all Americans, all people of Lamarque. And I think where we have the traditions of the 20,000 that we already see, to the mayor's point, the next 20,000 that come here could potentially want to live differently. We talk about State Highway Corridor, Highway 3, sidewalk expansion. What does that mean for the business community on Highway 3? What does it mean for those spaces that were empty lots that are now going to be a CVS? What is it going to mean if we have a whole medical complex on that side of town, a stone's throw from Mainland Hospital in our own city? All of those are development that is needed, so yes.
Thank you. So one question that we often hear is, what are we doing about the outdated water line infrastructure? Mayor, can you help us answer that?
Absolutely. Years ago, again, 3 or 4 years ago, our water loss, that means the amount of water that we lose. Let's back up a minute. We purchase water, and the water is delivered to our infrastructure. And once it's delivered to our infrastructure, it goes through our infrastructure to our homes. And in that process, about 3 years ago, we were losing about 60% of our water. Meaning that before it reached your tap, it was spilling out into the ground, if you will. And that was primarily because of old, outdated water infrastructure. There are still clay pipes in certain parts of our city. Normal water loss is about 15%, and it has very little to do with water leaving out of the water infrastructure components, and has more to do with people not paying their water bill, water theft. That 15% is usually made up majority of water theft. And so the other 45% that we were talking about, again, it's going on the ground. We have done tremendous amounts of work on our water infrastructure. Now within water, you have your wastewater, which is your sewer, you have storm water, which is your drainage, and you have clean water. And so now we're specifically talking about clean water, the water you turn when you turn your tap, the water that comes out of your faucet. We've done tremendous amounts of work to repair and replace those water infrastructures. I believe last year, since this is a State of the City address for this past year, I believe, and thanks to Randy Weber, Randy Weber's office, the Congressman Randy Weber, facilitated a $2 million grant for the city of Lamarque to do more work on our water infrastructure. And I believe the vast majority of the work that was done this past year on our water infrastructure was done in District D.
Correct.
That is the easternmost part and one of the oldest portions of our city. At least $2 million went into water infrastructure improvements in that part of our city. Incidentally, guess which part of our city had the most water loss? It was District D. So the council is receiving resources, receiving monies from ARPA funds, American Rescue Plan funds, from General Land Office, GLO funding, from Congressman Randy Weber, and other sources to upgrade our water infrastructure. And it has made a tremendous impact on our ability to deliver water. Pressures are up in certain parts of our city, not in all of our city. Many of us still struggle with low water pressure, but we're on the right track. We did a lot of work this past year, a lot of it in D, Mr. James Ross, our council member from District D, is here today in attendance, and he's done some great work to try to navigate that for us. Proud of him, proud of the work that we've done on our water infrastructure, and there's certainly more to come.
I would allude to there's more to come. I had a meeting with Shannon Bro, who is our interim Public Works Director. I remember when we talked about that, he said, I'm going to earn my keep. And he has worked, as well as worked his team to earn his keep, to say the least, to go over 60% of loss, to be right at 35%. I got those numbers last night or yesterday. 35.1% is where we're currently sitting at. So with that, there is more work to come. He will let me know. You know, obviously it's cyclical. They'll need to do certain work when it comes to summertime, all of the above. And so we're definitely looking forward for that to progress. But as the mayor mentioned, the funding sources are coming from a couple of different ways. So we can buy the equipment, we can repair the infrastructure. We're utilizing those dollars where they make the most sense, and it is where our aging infrastructure is. So we'll continue to see substantial, not only growth, but when it comes to evening out our water loss. Thank you.
As we wrap up, Mayor, is there any key takeaways you'd like for the audience to know as we look forward?
Well, I think that, again, first of all, we want to certainly thank all of those who have come to join this discussion today. I mentioned that Councilmember James Ross is here. I also wanted to mention that Mayor Pro Tem Joe Compion is here today as well. I believe Councilwoman Yancey, Kimberly Yancey, was scheduled to be here. She had a family issue that she had to take care of, and so she's behind today, but certainly she's here with us in spirit. We are at a critical place in our city. Lamarck has never been where we are today. We have had great success over the past few years in critical areas. What are those areas? First and foremost, crime is down. We've just talked about that. Secondly, our infrastructure is being replaced, repaired, and essentially improved. $48.9 million wastewater sewer plant expansion. The planning stages, the design phases are well underway. Those repairs, that replacement of that wastewater treatment plant will most certainly happen. We are experiencing tremendous growth in our housing, tremendous growth in sales tax. So Lamarck has done some great things, wonderful things that we ought to be proud of, but we also have tremendous challenges. Our infrastructure is still outdated in many places, and our folks are still suffering from sewer backup, from drainage issues when we receive heavy rains. And one of the biggest things of the day, the biggest issues of the day are our streets. And the council has allocated monies toward developing a new street department within our Public Works Department. We hadn't had one in years, and I mean decades. And so for us to take the step as a council to reallocate funds, to restart our street maintenance department is a tremendous step for us to take. And so while we have had successes, we also still have challenges, but I submit to those folks that call this great city home. That is the story of every city in this country. Every city can say with all certainty, we have had great success, and yet we are still in the midst of great challenges. Lamarck is no different. But Lamarck certainly will continue to strive and to thrive and to move forward to achieve what we believe is appropriate for our community. We use the All-America City Award as a catalyst to continue into a future that many of us have dreamed would happen, doubted it could happen, but now are determined to make happen. So I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be your mayor. Certainly I want to thank individually those council members that serve with me. I want to try to do it by seniority, and so I believe that Mayor Pro Tem Joe Compion is the most senior member of our council. Ms. Kimberly Yancey is next. Mr. James Ross, who unfortunately will be leaving us soon. I want to grab him and see if we can hold him over for a few weeks. And also Mr. Joseph Lowry. I want to thank those members for serving with me and serving this great community. I'm just excited about the role that we play and the goal that we're achieving and the future of this great city.
Thank you, Mayor.
I'm going to pep up so everybody knows I didn't go to sleep. For me, it is the excitement to get to work. I think that we, from a staff standpoint, we talk about this often. We have the inside joke. What does JB stand for? Just business. Time to get to work. I think when we talk about where we have been, where we talk about what is needed, when we talk about all the things for the future, it's a working year. It's time to roll up our sleeves and get it done. I say it simply because I mean it simply. I think staff all know me well enough to where the mission is simple. Executing it is not. There's problems that we have with overtime. There's problems that we have when it comes to, well, what does this ordinance say, Jose? Because I need to know how to enforce that. There's problems when it comes to what it means to build a better Lamarque in all aspects of the city. How do I have the best library? How do I have the best fire department, the best police department, the best code enforcement, all of the above? To execute it, there are difficult days, but you're not going to get there if you don't roll your sleeves up and just get to work. And I think for a long time we have talked about just get to work, just get the business done. I think now is a time to use the awards that we have had, All-America, TML awards, a lieu of others for different departments when it comes to court, when it comes to fire, when it comes to PD, when it comes to all of these departments that are striving to be better than all of their predecessors in the history of Lamarque each and every day. I see it in my department heads. I see how they can go paperless to save the taxpayers money. They can make sure that efficiencies happen so that the revenues that they bring in are not a projected 600,000, but they are an actual 900,000. For me, it's to understand where we are in collection for billings, where we are when it comes to the business side of municipal government. I stay in the business side because, and all of staff will tell you, I ask a lot of questions. I ask, how much is it going to cost me? Does it make sense? Dollars and cents is what it boils down to. Is it the best for the city of Lamarque? Not 5, not 10. Is it best for the overall efficiency as a whole? And we ask ourselves when it comes to rewriting ordinances, when it comes to billable attorney hours, when it comes to all of these aspects that are my responsibility to make sure that we don't spend more than what we have. Every sister of mine would tell you that if I was allowed to hold their allowance for them, they'd have a lot more left over. I have a joke that I still have my lunch money from 3rd grade because it is about being fiscally responsible. It's not executing more. Now, does it mean that things aren't going to cost money? Absolutely. I think that if the table in the back tells me all of their streets, I can tell you the dollar amount for each one of those. When it comes down to the square footage, when it comes to all aspects of the city. And then I think for us, we need to look at everything in a fine-tooth comb to make sure that we're executing it as effective as possible. And so that's really where my remarks are. You know, when it comes to the business for Lamarque, Lord knows I'm not shy to do a video for a new Hangry Joe's or a new business that's coming in the city of Lamarque. But where I see myself having value and where I hope that in the years to serve where I can be is the seat that I'm in. Because if I'm spending less money than we're bringing in, if I'm paving streets, if I'm making sure the police department and the fire department are making those streets and our homes and our community safer as a whole, maybe you'll keep me around for a month or two longer. So that's where I'm at as far as how we execute. I would like that message to be reiterated to, again, everybody in the room, as well as to council in the room, as well as to all of our residents that call Lamarque home and all the people moving here that will soon call it home.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you again, everyone, for joining us, whether you're here in person or live from home. And if you're just tuning in, you can catch the rebroadcast of this on YouTube at City of Lamarque TX. Thank you.